Hey everybody, how's it going? I want to tell you a small story. So I still remember the first time, when I had one of the most inspiring teachers way back. This was in my seventh grade, and my math teacher, who happened to, just who he was a kind of a new teacher. I think one of the first things he sort of really inspired us to do was, set like a small goal. Apart from math, I mean, the first few classes, I would say, he started really teaching us about, how to think, how to do, what are your challenges, etc. Basically, do very simple stuff. Now that, I mean, all of us had the first thing was like, reaction was, hey, is it really important? Is this guy even teaching math, etc. Turns out later, much later, the sessions he taught were amazing. I think, that gave me definitely one of the most solid foundations in mathematics. Conversely, one of our chemistry teachers was really kind of uninspiring, extremely dull, monotonous, and I sort of developed a hatred towards chemistry, right? I think all of us have seen that in many forms and shapes. A subject is only taught, becomes as interesting as its faculty, at least during the formative years, right? So today we are going to be looking at, what are the elements of a full stack data scientist? Again, AI, data science, machine learning are hot. Everybody wants the hottest job. Everybody wants that good pay. Great, but what are the fundamentals? Let's look at, and this is after having looked at, more than probably 6,000 to 7,000 people, having trained them, having set courses, design, pedagogy, feedback, walking with them, looking at the trajectories, post the job or post their startup or post their PhD or postdocs, etc. Right. So let's look at some of the key elements, and this is going to be a mixture of, what a little bit of philosophy plus approach to this concept, right, or to this entire endeavor of full stack data scientist. So bear in mind there might be some practical examples as well. Number one thing I see that people, I won't say lack, is they kind of do not. Um, so let's be a little more positive. So number one thing is people don't have a definite goal. Now, how definite should your goal be? And actually 99% of the people don't even set a goal, which is very bad. So that's a recipe for disaster. Now let's look at what that might mean. So most of the students or the learners, and students, I mean, I have across demographics, male, female, 18-year-olds through all the way to, I think, 59 was years old. It was the eldest I've ever had the opportunity of teaching. Um, you do not have a definite goal. Now, how do we set definite goals? Examples of poor goals are: I want a job in 90 days. I want a good job. I want a good placement, or I need a high paying salary. All these are actually, they're good, they're decent, but they're not something that's going to get you up every morning with that same intensity and ferociousness. Um, you would want to think of a goal, something, that can be written in one tweet or two tweets. Examples of good goals include a full stack AI job in a FANG company. FANG is like Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. I'm not saying ambition. I mean, be ambitious because it's free, but also being very definite about what companies you want to go after or what roles you want after. Because again, many of the jobs out there, job descriptions masquerade as a data science job, but they are not, right? They could be a data analytics job. They could be a data munging job only, so on and so forth, right? Or a Tableau job. You've got to be extremely clear. And the more definite your goal is, and the more you write it down, and a goal must be written down. I mean, really have a goal card. And this is where I would borrow Earl Nightingale's quotes. The moment you have written it down in a crystal clear format and you stick it, you're going to have it. You're going to have it. It could take 3 months, 6 months. It could take, a year, 5 years, but you'll have it, right? So write that down. I've typically seen three trajectories. People either want to get to a job, people want to do a master's, PhD. I won't say further studies because, there's no further in studies. You have to be always evolving. And the last trajectory is, typically startup consulting or a competitive programmers. Again, seen very less. The spread I've seen is 90% on job, master's, PhD is about 6-7%. Very few, 2-3% on the startup consulting space. So I am going to now talk a little bit more about the job piece because that's where a bulk of you should be following. Okay. Now, common pitfalls again, and things I think, that might help you rewire your operating system, which is the mindset, right? Now, going back to the mindset, it's almost, so there's a famous saying the opposite of courage is cowardice. It is not that. It is actually conformity, right? Most people think applying the way to get a job is, okay, I'm going to make my resume, I'm going to put it out on, wherever, Naukri, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, etc., and I'm going to start searching and carpet bombing. And they do that. You actually send requests to a lot of these people, and then you start seeing the rejection game, right? So you reach out to 100 people or whatever, 50, 60 people, and you're literally almost desperate to hear from them. You shouldn't do that typically. There are interesting ways to hustle that. You must always embark on your data science journey, learning journey, from a perspective of the outcome, right? So if you're building something from your education, or right from your course or certification process, whatever you call it, you want to always tweak that till the end game, right? So remember, like Avengers, there's a clear end game, and then they took like 7, 8, 10 years to sort of build up to that, right? So, and that strategy starts right now, right? So one is, you want to build an organic original portfolio. There's plenty of open data sets out there, but that, employers have seen that done and dusted. It's actually incredibly boring. So don't write Titanics, Iris data sets, so on and so forth. And is there plenty of non-public data? Yes, there is. There's plenty of quasi-private data, meaning with just a few commands, a little bit of smart work, you can get original data and you can build an original portfolio. It could be like, for instance, building a COVID portfolio for COVID detection, or vaccine distribution portfolio for, developing countries or United States, so on and so forth. All of that data is available. Build something original. It might take only 5 or 6 additional minutes, but you start something fundamental, then chances are the employers will love that, right? How to approach LinkedIn. Okay, so this is something a lot of people just think, okay, LinkedIn is a vanity metric. I go, I list myself. No, LinkedIn is Microsoft's company right now. It's more than 25 billion. There's so many people on it. You should have a clear strategy to increase your inbound interest. And that's actually easier said than done. So we're going to be looking at that as well. And the importance of putting yourself out there. Not many people actually. So one of the things about data science or any job is you have to put yourself out there. It's actually extremely painful. I know that there's fear of getting rejected. There's fear of public speaking or whatever, fear of writing a blog, what people might judge, etc. Do not care. People of making a video like this, right? Paradoxically, more people have died of, road accidents, corona, etc., than people have died of, public speaking or anxiety. Yet people continue to do that. If you don't put yourself out there, people are not going to get to you, right? And the competition is actually very, very less for a person. And you don't want the best English, don't worry about that. It can be in your regional language, but do something original. It could be in a vernacular space or whatever, right? Should be fine. Okay. Next, I've also seen in my in numerous cases that people get the skills right, but they don't get the job right. Now, what does that mean, right? Shouldn't I be at the at the receiving end of a job? No, don't. Just because somebody's giving you 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, or 5 lakh or 10 lakh, whatever the case might be per month, or 10K or 20K salaries per month, or 100K per year, doesn't mean that you should love the job, right? After 6 months, money is great. It's going to give you that raise. It's going to give you that 200% hike, etc. But you will start regretting. So some of the things that I've actually constantly been telling the community is, look for the right function role. That is a non-negotiable. These are 3 non-negotiable things that you must bear in mind, right? And it's understated, underemphasized, but you will get it right now, right? Because many of you have already been doing jobs. You probably already felt this. Right function role is the most important, right? How do I know that? The JD. Read the JD, please. Do not carpet bomb. I know seeking a job out there is onerous, it's difficult, but get the right job and get the right function, right? Do not optimize for maximizing salary. Maximizing salary strategy is the worst strategy possible. Second, this requires a little bit of extra work, but it will make you long-term very, 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 very happy. Look for a manager who's competent, or look for a hiring manager, like the direct boss or the direct team members who are competent and who likes you. What does that mean? Number three qualities. Number one, you must respect that person. He or she, like, it could be qualification, it could be role, it could be pedigree, whatever it is, you must respect that. You can never thrive in a role where you disrespect the boss. That is just not happening, right? And from a competence perspective, not for something else, right? The skill on the job, does he or she have a lot more? Can you learn at least from a 3-year perspective, right? Just by osmosis, by just talking to the person or writing code along with the person or seeing the supervision, can you learn? You must, right? That's a non-negotiable. Second trait, I tend to say that the boss should be elder to you, but that's changing right now. If in a startup the boss can be younger, that's fine. My other condition is you must like the boss. Correct. What does you must like the boss mean? And reciprocally, it means, and this is something I felt. So I had a tough boss. So let me tell you the condition, and then I'll tell you the story. If you are unable to take your boss out for a beer, I mean, like a drink or some whatever, if you're a teetotaler, or in the evening, and not able to talk about your personal problems, a little bit, one or two, not all of the personal problems, that means if you don't have a rapport with them, then it's extremely, extremely difficult, right? Because unless, I mean, I don't want you to be best friends, but I don't want you to be complete, cold acquaintances. It should lean on the side of some 50-50, but a little less than like best friends. Like I'm sorry, little towards the side of being cold, right? So I would tip the balance on the side of being a little bit acquaintances. I'm not completely for being very, very best friends unless you have a history, etc. That's okay. But do your job, but get the boss to like you, and it should be fundamentally the respect and fundamental. And again, when I say get the boss to like you, what I really meant was like, don't try to appease the boss because of lack of skills and all. That's not what I'm talking about. Get a respected boss, get a role you like, and reciprocity of trust is very, very important. Right? And see, then you finally optimize. Okay, for pay, commensurate pay, right? Try to get the best, or at least the second best salary in that function role, right? For instance, if you're applying to Google and you've actually made it to all the FANG companies, and I'm just making it up, if the salary is 30 lakhs per annum, then it's okay if you get 28 lakhs per annum, but if you're getting in the right boss, it's also okay to take 25 lakhs per annum if it's a boss, etc. Commensurate pay means like, what are you learning? What is the payoff? Correct. However, now some people were in startups, some people go all the way, they want to hustle. Suppose I'm just making another example up. If you're working, there's an intern position up with Kunal Shah, right, FreeChart's founder, and now Cred. And let's say you like him, even if he's paying you only 1 lakh a month, it's fine. I think you should just go and take it, provided you know that there's a good function, there's a good role, and you're reporting to him, etc. So commensurate pay is something people miss out, because they look at the short-term pay, they don't look at the long-term pay, right? Because if you work for Kunal Shah, let's say as an AI scientist, God knows, tomorrow you can come up with your own company, you have the network, etc. So look at what is the exact commensurate pay, right? Again, that also depends on a lot of the risk-taking appetite you have, so on and so forth. So my own example is when I was working for American Express, didn't have the best of bosses. It was very, very difficult. So I'm going on record and saying that. So I mean, she's very competent. She was from Cornell, etc. But the kind of rapport definitely was not there. So we won't talk too much about the masters and the PhD bit. We'll defer that to later. But again, I mean, people are fairly clear about where they want to get to for further studies. I would again optimize for 3 things. One is the work, right? If it's a master thesis-based company with a great thesis-based university with a great professor, look for top-notch universities. Don't be ambitious. Don't sell yourself short. Be ambitious, and really, really work your profile towards that. And then your entire data science course also depends on that. Meaning, you're looking for more research. That means you have to start within month 1, talking to these professors, etc. Maybe they could be at IITs or ISCs, etc. Hustle your way through that. Don't expect inbound inquiries there as much as in job opportunities, etc. Startup consulting is a completely a different discussion. We have seen people make careers. Again, the numbers are very, very less. But if you have some risk-taking appetite, and if you have finished your sort of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and meaning your roti kapda makan, is set for yourself and your family and your loved ones, etc., whatever, then you should definitely consider taking at least one or two key risks, right? Competitive programming is completely a different facet. We have trained, I've seen that it's not for everybody because, but it's like people who are in army or who plays, like adrenaline sport, extremely risky, but it's tremendous. The payoffs are huge. We have a solid team within our company also working on that. Let me know if that's what interests you. Hit the comments below and say that you're interested in Kaggle competitions or competitive programming. All right, perfect. Next, let's look at some ML. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. So machine learning. Not going to talk too much about what is machine learning, etc. This is more oriented towards mindset of what you're going to embark on, right? So machine learning broadly for a full stack data scientist or a data scientist consists of the pre-processing elements, and the model building and the model deployment. So pre-processing, what does that entail? Well, without any sort of hesitation, these are three things you will be embarking on. You might not make sense too much right now, but think of it and try to understand what's the onslaught coming, right? Number one, Python mastery. You must be good at coding. Now, coding is of two types. People think it's IT programming, like web development, front end, back end, full stack web development. We are not that. But there is data science programming. There is a little bit of, there is significant overlap because they have Python, the same scripting languages, etc. The fundamentals are the same, but that's pretty much it in terms of the commonality, right? You must be a master in Python, data wrangling, NumPy, Pandas. We're going to be looking at all of that scikit-learn in our course. Mastery in terms of databases. Databases, again, not SQL, completely SQL oriented, etc., or MongoDB, etc. But we're just saying basic operations, like how do you ingest data, etc., joins, inner joins, outer joins, mixing tables, so on and so forth, right? And third is the fundamentals of writing good reusable software code. I have seen job descriptions on the East Coast, mostly on the West Coast and East Coast in the United States. They are expecting people to also be familiar with basics of data structures and algorithms, which includes quicksort, binary sort, etc. We will be covering all of that. So, but in case you're not taking this course, which is fine, also make sure wherever you are, pick those up because they are asking in good companies those questions as well. In terms of model building, right? Again, so there's the core at the core. It really depends on again what your goal is. If you're looking for actuarials, you want to be very heavy on math and statistics. So this is where you sort of like in cricket, you start taking some sort of mastery in either batting. You must know batting, bowling, and fielding to get your foot in the door, but you start specializing in one of them. You can know this by month 4 of the course or month 3 of the course. So be very thorough in math. This is a math intensive course, lots of concepts on math, statistics. We're going to go through all of them in terms of fluency, but wherever you're learning, master these, look at these again and again. Math doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, which is okay, but repetition and revision can come. You must look at the same chapter at least 5 times, 10 times, and really you must have a perfect blend of I would say on record, rote learning plus understanding the fundamentals of concept plus being creative as well, right? T-test, chi-square test, ANOVA, confidence intervals. In terms of probability, we're going to be looking at Bayesian statistics, marginal, joint distributions, etc. So really, really, really try to get your foundation strong in terms of probability. If you're trying to take this course, brush up definitely on all of the probabilistic modules, coin tosses, Bernoulli, binomial distribution, so on and so forth, just so that you have like a set foundation, right? And when you come on the class, you come and you start hitting the runs, start hitting the start scoring. So for instance, if you're playing cricket, you want to make sure that you know the batting, bowling, fielding, but before that, you want to know how to do push-ups. How can you run 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers without taking a break, so on and so forth, right? Those are in your hand, right? So all of the core machine learning concepts are going to be covered, but this is where the interviewers focus a lot of the time, supervised, unsupervised techniques. In case of deep learning, all of the convolutional neural network concepts, the recurrent neural network concepts might look overwhelming now. Don't worry about that, but I'm just saying become masters of that. And finally, this is where a lot of people actually don't make a lot of mistakes, is model deployment. Make sure, double check, triple check if your course covers the deployment piece. This is a missing element in almost all of the best courses. And I'm not saying ours is the best, but there's a lot of other courses. For some reason, they have not kept pace with that. Make sure you pick up one platform really well, like end to end to end, meaning you're able to build models and deploy them, right? And deployment should also work. So we prefer, we're doing a lot of our work at Pixeltests on Google Cloud Platform. Amazon Web Services is also something that we're doing, but GCP is where most of our heavy lifting is done. Make sure you're familiar with all concepts of Lambda, EC2, S3, SageMaker, so that you are fluent. Again, the other myth is, or the other common mistake people do is the certification business. Don't do that. The power of one. Just stick to one course. Do it really, really well. Maybe 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, and go back and reflect on where your mistakes were, etc. Don't get into the certification game of taking 5 certifications, 6 certifications. In fact, maybe I want to call my course uncertified or something like that. Like really, let's look at the definition of certification. Certification means you have some skills and you have been attested for that, right? That's probably what it means. But now the barrier to entry to get certification in many of these courses is becoming lesser and lesser. Take a good mentor, do whatever it takes to get that certification, and then clear that, right? Perfect. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. If you're enjoying it, type BIO. That means bring it on, the next steps, right? Or comment boom. So the next steps for us, if you want to continue or if you want to take the next step, coming to the course, etc. And I am going to be like giving you a prerequisite. The course is going to be difficult. It is for serious people who want to really excel and go to any of their solid outcomes. Let's meet live. There's more than 11,000 success stories out there. So this is the link, bit.ly/pt_webinar_register. Also, I'm giving you a short free course, which is because you've attended this and you've seen this, all the way until now. We could be on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're seeing this. bit.ly/pt_blueprint. That's worth about $120. That's about 8,000 rupees. That's coming for free. And join the VIP group, which is like a WhatsApp group / Facebook group, which has all the members of the community. That's bit. Let me get rid of this HTTPS. bit.ly/pt_VIP. Perfect. I really enjoyed this short rendezvous with you. I hope you I'll see you in class. Hit the like button or the comment button with boom, and please join the Let's Meet Live. Thank you.